Okay, recording. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we are recording. So, welcome to the 16th episode of the Bolo Pascual show. Today, we have a very special guest. We are going to be talking about two things. Okay, we're going to be talking about hip hop culture, mainly centered on Michael Pacquiao and his new
Yes,
song
sir.
that was released on Wish Bus or something like that. Correct me if I'm mistaken. And secondly, we will be talking about the jerseys inside the NBA and the protest jerseys. What are the implications? Do we celebrate it or not? All that stuff. So we have a guest here, Benjo Gumboc. He is my
Yo,
he is my friend who I met in the debate community. He is like the seventh best speaker of the Philippine Debate Union Open 2015. Yeah,
was
boy.
the first time. Yeah,
Multiple
boy, remember that
AdScore
shit?
member in many debate tournaments. Uh, what else? Um, and yeah, I talked to Benjo about pop culture, mostly on hip hop culture and the NBA. So Benjo, would you like to introduce yourself further? And yeah,
What's up? Yep, it was already said. This is Benj. Some people call me Benjo, and Bolo has been my friend for a very long time already. So we've been talking a lot. We've been talking a lot about basketball since 2000, whatever. I don't know. I don't remember anymore. Let's go with it. Yeah.
all right, okay, sige. Let's talk about what's the whole issue with Michael Pacquiao. Like, because for me, I just feel like okay, obviously he's gonna have a lot of views. Anak siya ni Manny Pacquiao eh. Anong magagawa natin? Kung anak ka ni Manny
Agreed.
Pacquiao,
Mm.
nag-release ka ng songs, at least like 4 million views yon or something. So para sa akin, na-weirdoan lang ako kasi bakit nagre-react yung mga tao
Mm-hmm.
about privilege. Eh, di ba dapat
Yes.
given na yon? Kasi wala, anak ka ni Manny Pacquiao eh. Yun na yung brand equity. Hindi mo naman kasalanan kung anak ni Manny Pacquiao. Ano yung mga,
Oh.
what are the various, ano yung various perspectives regarding the whole issue na sumasurface sa Twitter?
Okay. So for me, based on what I see on Twitter, on Facebook, there are at least two common sentiments that I see from most people. One is majority nga. It's all about an issue of privilege. Like they don't really like what they see from Michael Pacquiao. Like the hate. Actually, it's ironic because the name of the song is Hate, and they hate the song, which is actually I think helps it. They're promoting it without them knowing it. Like they keep on hating the word hate anyway. So they hate it because he's rich technically. So feeling ko they don't really hate the song or the skill. They hate because he's Pacquiao. All right, and we can talk about that later more because of his association, things like that. The second is people defending why do you hate Michael Pacquiao? It's not his fault to be rich anyway, and the song is not really bad. Di naman ganun kapangit.
Medyo okay nga
So
eh.
parang for me
I like
lang,
the vibe. Mm.
parang for me lang, I actually agree with you. Because automatic, feeling ko naman the association to Pacquiao is a trigger. Like, for example, Gigi. Let's use Gigi. I'm a Kobe fan,
Mm.
and everyone knows and like Gigi Bryant. All right, people started talking about her. All right, because of Kobe. Started talking about Willow Smith because of Will Smith.
Mm.
So did we hate people? Didn't hated them because the people they're associated with are quote unquote good athletes or good people, good idols. Now, walang question of privilege. People never question of we're talking about Gigi, but we never talk about yung anak nung another football coach who died in the plane
Mm.
because the dad was not famous. Why are we not talking about the privilege of Gigi? I mean, rest in peace, Mamba. Pero no one was talking about privilege. So is the hate really coming from the idea of privilege or just because we know it's money?
Mm.
So feeling ko may main sentiment is it's directed. Like people, yes, but we cannot say their argument is wrong. The whole privilege argument is right. No one is saying that's not right. Pero um feeling ko the hate is just coming from knowing na anak siya ni Manny technically. And if it's a different personality, it's not gonna be the case.
So
So I'm just siding. Go ahead, brother.
No, go.
So I'm just thinking that I would say like unpopular opinion. I don't think we should be criticizing Michael or kahit na sabihin nilang people don't hate Michael, they just hate privilege. Then talk about privilege. Don't direct it to the guy. Don't direct it to the kid. The kid just wants to sing, show his talent. He never even said his name in the video. Diba? He never even mentioned his name on the song. Diba? There was no attempt to say he's the Pacquiao. He's even trying to avoid from it. So parang una-una di niya kasalanan na Pacquiao siya. Pangalawa is that technically it's just people associating him to Manny. It's the other way around.
Yung pinaka-concern ko is that, like, I think the biggest battle of children of famous people is gaining their own attention because it was their hard work, it was their own effort. And I just feel like making it an issue about being the son of Manny Pacquiao, I don't know, I feel like it's kind of damaging to the kid, because like what he's trying to do is to disassociate himself from his dad by like making his own, I guess, brand for like music. I mean, I think like pumapayag naman si Manny Pacquiao na magboxing yung mga anak niya. Parang highly discouraged lang. Pero I think the way Manny Pacquiao, when raising children, like parang least priority yung boxing. Pero si, anong pangalan niya? Si, the older guy, parang boxing. So I just feel like parang instead of, I don't know, here's my I guess I have a bias kasi I have a bias for Manny Pacquiao, even if like I know he's a bigot. I know. But like diba, we both hate Manny Pacquiao the legislator. And like there's a whole debate na can we separate Manny Pacquiao the legislator versus Manny Pacquiao the father, or Manny Pacquiao the boxer?
The eighth time. He's in the conversation of being the all-time greatest boxer
in the world.
In the world.
So agreed. I just want to say to all our debater friends, yes, I have a bias for Manny Pacquiao, and I know I suck at it, and I like it's my excuse to just say I like Manny Pacquiao the boxer and the father. I just don't like the legislator, but that's another episode. And if you want to talk to me and Benjo about it and debate about it, well, join us
all day
next episode. Pero yun, parang I just want to say na parang I think that was good nga na parang that kid is exploring music and not boxing, and then still emphasizing the values of hard work and all those things. And parang
question.
Go for it.
Eto, like many people like Francis M, right? Francis M, master rapper, the biggest hip hop name in the Philippines, Looney. Did they know that Francis M is a son of a celebrity, the Magalonas? So Francis M in the Philippines was also coming from privilege, but no one even mentioned that. Looney is sikat because assistant siya or parang main boy siya. Yung term na is kanang kamay siya ni Francis M. Again, privilege. Every fucking celebrity that we have has privilege technically. And it's never brought up just because there was no bad association with it. So parang, again, I'm not saying na we should not talk about privilege. We should talk about it. Pero we should talk it as much as we should give credit to the guy. I think yung sentiments, we're not giving credit to the guy. About why shouldn't we talk about the song? Wala ko nakita comments about the song. They're not. I think di nga nila napakinggan the song. They didn't even hear the song. So, eto question ko sa'yo, man. Parang let's tie it up to the hip hop culture ng konti. Parang mayroon ko nakikitang other sentiments na mas deep yung analysis niya in a sense na hip hop culture is rooted from how do I say it from
struggles
from struggles na usually even in America it's black culture, so pag white yung nag-rap they don't accept it as much. Now feeling ko na-link din nila na parang the reason they don't wanna allow Michael to gain credit is because maraming mahirap na rapper in the Philippines who don't get the limelight. So ang question is, do you think the best solution is to hate on Michael to point that out, or hindi ba pwedeng, why not we just give more opportunities to these poor individuals? Like, why cannot put highlight on Wishboss? Si Wishboss yung pumili kay Michael. Bakit si Wishboss hindi niya piliin yung rappers who struggle para magkaroon ng, I think si Wishboss yung may problema technically. Wishboss yung nagbigay ng limelight eh. And Twitter are the ones giving more publicity to Michael than those who don't have the spotlight. So go ahead.
I just say I agree. Na parang like if I were Michael Pacquiao and I was invited by Wishboss, then I'll take it. Like parang who would be
I'll take it.
Not to take it, and I'll just say, oh yeah, then I'll sing it. And the second thing I would say is that it's not as if like Wishboss doesn't like invite people from less privileged backgrounds. Like there's a ton of rappers, dozens and if not hundreds of rappers from less privileged backgrounds, right? Now that was given opportunity to it. Pero third, parang ito yung sa akin eh. You know Elmo Magalona? The son.
Elmo.
Like,
Elmo.
Ewan ko, I don't know. Ito medyo papatawa ako. Pero si Elmo pogi eh. Bakit hindi nagalit yung Twitter pag nag-release si Elmo ng shit? Or ba't diba? Pero para sa akin, in terms of the hip-hop world, when we talk about like real privilege, you are the son of the ewan ko, for me, the king of Philippine rap, or like parang the guru of Philippine hip-hop. Pero you don't receive hate. But when it comes to, pero at the same time, like kunyari, which is my favorite family? Mas gusto ko yung Magalonas than
Magalona, than Pacquiao.
I respect the Magalonas more. I think they're more, I don't know. Basta, I like them more. let's just end it with that. Pero pag si Michael Pacquiao, parang, privilege. Pero bakit ito yung first time we talk about privilege when like these types of brothers and sons, like ever since 2010, 2012, they're already here. So, yun lang yung weird for me. That's the only thing that's weird for me. Yeah.
So parang,
go.
Agreed. Feeling ko just to clear up dun nga sa audience, especially sa audience mo. We don't support or we don't completely agree dun sa whole notion of the Pacquiao, especially that sometimes they're not using their privilege in the right way. Pero feeling ko, we always, as people in the society, we always have to dichotomize. Kailangan lang natin siyang, we need to be objective. Like, are we like right now our society, gusto natin magbigay ng opinions. All right, and we're very much, especially on the Twitter platform or in progressive platforms, we always side with the progressive values. Pero feeling ko sometimes we have to look closely. Parang, are we still defending the right fight? Are we fighting the right fight? Personally, it does not help Michael. It just shows na sobrang one-dimensional eh. Parang one-dimensional in a sense na, okay, you talk about privilege, you don't like Michael's privilege, but do you like his rap? So parang, let's talk about that first.
Sige.
Feeling ko ganun. And then, diba? So parang ganun yung feeling ko the conversation na nabubuo so far na nakikita ko right now is a one-dimensional conversation. Unfair. Parang if everyone wants fairness, then cut all sides as well. Let's be objective about it. Parang hindi naman natin makakalimutan eh kung ano yung mga shortcomings ng legislator Pacquiao. And we will never forget that. Pero in this specific context, feeling it's about Michael. Parang let's allow the guy to move away from the shadow of the
Mm,
dad, diba?
mm.
So yun lang. That's for me.
One thing that so I was listening to the rap, pero I couldn't, and then I saw like a Facebook post about there's a line that talks about, I don't know, is that like, I don't know, like ice? So what's ice ba? Is that like crack? Yun ba yun? Or like,
Yes, yes.
diba, or
Ice is
parang
crack.
meth, diba? Parang ganon, parang
Meth. Mm-hmm.
Breaking Bad. And like, I don't know, like I didn't hear it. Like parang I didn't catch it. So is there really like parang like a drug, like illegal drugs reference in the, so meron ba talaga o wala? Kasi like I listened to it pero I didn't capture it.
There was. Pero kasi for me, it's a parang the song in itself. Ano na siya eh. For me nga parang ano ba to, madaming American songs na sobrang obscene, sobrang explicit. And what I like about music, especially rap, or rap compared to every other genre, is where you talk about it. Because rap is all about struggles, real life problems.
Mm,
And kahit na may reference doon, so what? It does not make the song bad. It does not promote it either way.
mm,
And yun nga, sobrang subjective na kahit anong song to anyone. So
mm,
I don't think that it should also be a reason to hate the song because sobrang ano na, nitpicking na lang yun.
mm,
Sobrang nitpicking for me. So parang I'm not here. Feeling ko I'm even gonna say that I'm here to defend Michael to
mm,
the extent that he does not deserve or his song does not deserve the critics. Parang ganito lang yan eh. Parang ano, parang food review. Hindi mo na-review yung pagkain, ni-review mo yung nagluto,
mm,
technically. So parang magkaiba yung review ng cook sa review ng food. And
mm,
so far nga, feeling ko the conversation we should start is first, especially for artists in
mm,
general, is look on the product first. Then let's criticize the actor as well or the artist as well.
mm.
So parang ganon.
Benjo, did you see the meme na parang, or like a meme or the Facebook post na, okay, this is the lyric about ice, about meth, and then Manny Pacquiao saying that we should have a death penalty for people who are drug addicts or
Ah,
did you see that type of meme or like parang post?
okay.
Post, yun yung nakita ko.
Hindi ko nakita.
Mm.
Hindi ko
And
pa nakita so far. Okay.
so I just want to share na parang
What
yun
do you feel about it?
nakita kong share ng mga tao. And then parang, so I get their point of view na parang, okay, like, ito nga yung privilege because like the son can talk about like illegal drugs while Manny Pacquiao as a legislator is pro death penalty. And para sa akin, it's just that you can't blame like Michael Pacquiao for having his dad have his own opinions about like public health policy and criminal justice and the criminal justice system. So like I think talaga kailangan i-separate yung opinion ng son sa opinion ng father. Kasi you know like parang I think Manny Pacquiao is a dumb legislator. I think he's a genius boxer who finds out new moves
100%.
against younger people. But when it comes to like
Mm-hmm.
anything, like I don't agree with it. Like parang, and I'm just in my mind, it's like, what if Michael Pacquiao feels the same way? Na parang, alam mo yun, he loves his dad, but he might not necessarily believe on
Exactly.
public health, like parang criminal justice ideas of his father, and like parang maybe that is pa nga like a message towards like his own experience, and parang okay, this is what the people in the hip hop world are experiencing, the struggle, this type of like um drug culture kasi mahirap yung life and like this like socio-economic problems, blah blah blah. Like parang I think okay, maybe he is exposed to understanding those sentiments coming from like the United States of America and the minorities there. Kung bakit niya na-adapt yung that type of culture by saying like I'm icy or something like that, diba? So yun yung
Mm.
main reaction ko eh, na parang yeah, yung opinion niya and yung the way he wants to express culture and understand culture of the West does not and should not reflect the opinion of his dad at all. Yun yung para sa akin.
And feeling ko nga, it's good because it reflects and it shows na his understanding is way better than his father. Diba? 'di ba? Yun eh. Parang kasi especially like sila Michael, ito pa nga. So 'di ba privilege sila. So international school from the get-go. And you would expect, who would say that his children knows better than Manny. Manny's educational background, not to put down anything on it, but it was really hard. That's why he's being taken advantage of his political team. Halata naman na Manny is not acting in his own ways. Yung mga ginagawa niya sa Senado is a byproduct of a team. What people don't understand in politics, everything is a product of a team. Everyone has a team. Like Tito Soto has a team, Bam Aquino has a team, Duterte has a team. Everyone has a team. That's how politics works, 'di ba? So parang just for example in boxing, nakakuha siya ng magandang team. Like Freddie Roach, good coach. Maganda yung outcome. In politics, nakakuha siya ng pangit na team, tapos di pa siya matalino, pangit na educational background, pangit yung product. With Michael, Michael has a good team. Michael's team is a very good school educational background.
Brent International School, tama ba yun?
Brent.
Like one of the most expensive, or I think the most expensive school in the Philippines.
The most expensive, I think then. So parang, I think it's a reflection. Parang it doesn't even get credit for it eh. Na parang it shows how far Michael's understanding is from his father, that he can talk about it normally, or we can even say progressively. Kasi you won't hear Manny talking about anything like that. And narinig ba natin si Manny na disagreeing with his son? Hindi din. So it's a good thing. Diba? It's a good thing na Michael can say those things and Manny not giving any shit about it or any bad comments about it. So, I mean, pwedeng hindi niya naintindihan kasi English. Pero joke lang.
But okay lang, same thought. Gago. Okay.
pero yun nga, diba? Agree with you on that. Pero ito, on that specific note though, what can you say about the question of feeling ko kasi yung question talaga of privilege, hindi mo siya i-rebut eh. You can't disagree with it, and no one's gonna disagree with it, especially if you understand it.
Concedable siya eh.
The only question is, are people asking the right questions? So are people answering the right questions?
Thanks for your question. Kasi for me, I don't think it's a fair comparison. I think you've seen the comment that I posted because you like the comment regarding the issue. But I just want to echo it here. Na parang I don't think it's a fair comparison to compare like Michael Pacquiao versus people who don't have popular fathers. I think the better comparison is Michael Pacquiao and other people with popular fathers who want to be musicians. So for example, let's say freaking Elmo versus Michael Pacquiao. I think that's a fair comparison kasi parang may clout within the hip hop world, 'di ba? Parang Manny Pacquiao pa rin clout in the hip hop world kasi maangas siya eh. Like he represented like humble manliness that can thrive in pop culture, 'di ba? While Francis M was revolutionary and making it popular and making it part of the Filipino culture as well. So parang feeling ko yung fair comparison talaga is, sige, tama nga that privilege is a factor, but I think the better analysis and the more productive conversation is that if you are in a position of privilege, how are you gonna maximize your privilege for your own advantage, but also for like the advantage of your own circle or the advantage of the Philippine music industry? At parang feeling ko, because yung comparison is Michael Pacquiao versus non-popular like musicians with no popular fathers, parang hindi siya balanced discussion or parang hindi siya productive discussion regarding that. So yun yung opinion ko about it.
Let's devil's advocate a little bit.
Sige, wait lang. Actually, Benjo,
so try natin gamitin yung
sige. Sige, ikaw muna. Ikaw na. Fine. Ikaw muna.
Parang try lang natin i-argue yung side nila. So sige, ang premise ng argument nila was, I don't like what Michael is doing kasi parang he's getting credit which is out of privilege. So my question is, So what should he do? Or tumong resolution to those people who are arguing that. What's next? So letter A, hindi na lang ba dapat mag-rap si Michael? Letter B, because his son of a rich guy, should we not listen to him or should we not give credit to what he's doing? Like I sometimes valid yung questions, pero I just don't see the next step of the logic. Like okay, the premise is right. He's using his privilege. Meron siyang attention from Wish Boss because of the privilege. So after nun, so ano gusto mo mangyari after the criticism? Hindi na lang ba siya mag-rap or what? Like can you argue on that side? Kasi for me lang personally, I can argue. Nahirapan ako mag-argue on that side because I can't answer that question.
No, I actually ganun sinabi mo eh. Parang what do you expect to do eh? Diba? Pero sige, since we're debaters, we're both debaters. We are to defend woke Twitter world. What would be a good argument that would convince you?
Okay.
Tama ba? Is that what you're asking, Benjo?
Oh,
sige.
To also, kasi baka nagmumukha tayo sobrang Pacquiao apologist.
No. Sige, let's do it.
Try to defend that logic. What? Diba? So parang, ano bang argument mo doon? Okay, sino kasi talaga yung argument mo head?
Sige. A narrative that would convince me inside woke Twitter's world is, I would say that it's hard for current musicians right now. And there's a lot of struggles where there are starving artists who are way better but don't get recognition. And I would just say na the world is unfair that way, and we shouldn't be blind with the fact that the world is unfair and many people of privilege can take advantage of the things that are unfair about the world. And para sa akin, like just defending woke Twitter side, I will just say na I have so much compassion to the people who are frustrated, to the people who are jealous, and to the people who are like disgruntled and envious, because I think they just have every right to do so. So like parang even if like for me their discussion is unproductive towards the music scene or even to the growth and self-development of Michael Pacquiao, I just feel like their feelings parang ganon, their feelings are valid. Parang I will still defend Michael Pacquiao. Pero but I understand you more than how I understand Manny Pacquiao because I don't have a rich father like you. Parang that's how I would like say that narrative. How about you? If you were to defend woke Twitter's world, like what would it be?
Siguro I'm using the same premise. Like I would just argue na even though they're not really hating on Michael, the conversation about privilege is important. In a sense na if we're not going to point out that Michael is getting privilege, we won't wake up to our senses that more struggling artists need more attention more than him. And if we can give attention to him, why shouldn't we give attention to other people? So parang it's really important to talk about it, to ask these kinds of questions. So parang yun na yung best outcome nun eh. You just fuel the conversation regarding privilege. Parang we just have to point it out. Yun lang. Parang the main argument is we have to point it out. We have to put it on the table, and people should know that there's something more with Michael getting this attention. Hindi lang dahil maganda yung song. Ayun naman, parang if I'm going to argue off Twitter, so sabihin ko na he's getting attention not because the song was 10 out of 10. He's getting attention because of his privilege. And that's a big reflection of how the whole industry works. Na parang we look more on the artist sometimes, or we look more on the privilege or the access of the person more than the song. And feeling ko in the music industry, dapat the culture should be let's look on the song more than let's look on the song first. Then let's talk about the author or the artist behind it.
Mm. One thing also, like for example, if I were to extend my defense to woke Twitter and how they reacted, I would say now because it's getting traction, it's a strategic time to talk about privilege because now more people can understand what checking your privilege means and like what are the unfair advantages. Na hindi lang natin sabihin na yung mga mayayaman na tao kasi nag-work hard sila. When in fact, like hard work doesn't necessarily equate to success. And parang in defense of woke Twitter, parang that is the strategic time to talk about it because the example is glaring and the example is there. And makaka-relate lahat ng tao. Not walang sides between like who's conservative, who's liberal. Eh. It's about a conversation about who appreciates pop culture. And that's like the youth. Like that's everybody. So yun yung defense ko sa woke Twitter. And I like how you like so knowing both sides of the debate. I really like how you explained na the most balanced starting point of the discussion when it comes to art could be the song first so that my discussion about the art first before the politics and before the power and before the privilege and incentive structures behind it. So ayun, parang I will like to arrive in the same conclusion as you as someone who is a hip hop pop culture enthusiast and musician myself na let's talk about those things valid lahat siya and a good starting point is to talk about the music, talk about the product first. I think that's a healthy discussion where it's least polarized and after we can establish that healthy discussion and agreement doon na tayo pwede mag-branch out. So akin yung regret ko lang nauna yung polarization before yung ganda ng song. Pero feeling ko mas healthy in discussion pag yung song na una and then nag-branch out sa polarization. Kasi at least it came from a healthy foundation of discussion muna. Art na hindi tayo, tangina, are we against like the policies of Manny Pacquiao or not, blah, blah, blah. Away na lang siya. So, ayun. Benjo, so were you aware that, because I just see the TikToks of the younger sisters of Michael Pacquiao. Now, he has a lot of equipment of like making beats and stuff. I'm not sure did he make those beats? Para sa akin, I think in my mind, my assumption is or assertion is he made those beats.
Like honestly though, feeling ko kasi in music, especially in beat making, especially in hip hop, okay, nothing is original talaga eh. Like parang he can make those beats pero it was still inspired. Parang especially in beats, maraming parehas. For people who don't usually know hip hop, it's hard to make beats because maraming parehas na tunog. So maybe pinakita yung mga gadgets and maybe he made those beats pero feeling ko lang hindi niya ginawa yung beats and kinuha niya lang din from something else kasi ganoon naman yung trend in hip hop eh. You rap, you freestyle on beats na ginawa na talaga ng mga producers.
Diba? Or so yung nakita mo sa SoundCloud tapos nagpaalam ka sa creator kung pwede.
Oo. Kung pwede. So parang ayun lang, parang feeling ko, way better na eh. Hindi rin na pag-usapan kung what if he made those beats. It's a good feat. Not everyone can rap, not everyone can make beats. Because technically in yung heartbeat, compared to other songs, yung gusto ko in hip-hop or rap, it's dictated by the heartbeat, which is the beat. Yun nga, technically it's the beat. So, if he made those beats, then sobrang unfair talaga ng conversation. He's good if he made those beats. Really good.
Benjo.
So, parang...
Sige. Go.
Go.
Sige. If you were to... so like example, in the off chance that Michael Pacquiao is listening, what would be your message? What would be your message to the kid?
Like my message to the kid, embrace the hate. Like, sobrang magka-capitalize ako in my puns. So parang, ang ganda kasi nung ano eh. That's the whole point of his song. Diba? So parang embrace the hate and use it, make a new song and address it. Yun yung best way. As an artist, your biggest platform is your platform. I mean, your product. Use use the topics they're talking about you and make a rap about it. Then let's see what will be the reaction to it. And if I am him, address it head on. I mean, he's smart. He's coming from a well educational background. He can talk about it. So parang make a song about it, rap about it, and let's hear what they will say after that. So tignan natin. Because I think these people, they're speaking because they want engagement. They want to talk. So talk to them. That's my greatest advice to him. And hindi naman niya, I mean, it would be way better if he can, mahirap in his position kasi anak siya ni Manny. Pero if he can address in an objective manner what people are saying about privilege. Actually, ironic kasi of all people, kung i-criticize mo about privilege, Manny shouldn't be one of them. Kasi Manny is one of the people who didn't really came out of privilege.
Right.
Mangingisda yan sa Navotas, where I grew up. Manny was like a very, I don't know, we know the stories. Parang he's the least, one of the least person like Villar, pag-usapan mo about privilege, the Sotos, pag-usapan mo about privilege. Penny, like, no man, like he's one of these guys who knows what privilege is. So his son knows that. I'm absolutely sure about it.
Like Michael Pacquiao is like the first, like one generation lang siya of privilege eh. Pero with the other, like Elmo, like
one generation lang siya.
Generations yun or 3 generations. Tapos siya pa, wala lang. Kaya ang Pacquiao apologist ko talaga kasi inamin ko talaga ito sa social media platforms ko na parang I don't like Manny the legislator pero shit, idol ko talaga si Manny Pacquiao. Like I know I get more money if he wins like his like boxing matches. Pero inside my heart talaga, I want him to win every time kahit gagawin niya yung campaign money for the next elections.
Ako naman with that, parang ano lang, parang the sports enthusiast in me can't deny. Parang the same way I can't deny yung blunders ni Pacquiao in Senate or in legislation. It's really hard to deny his feats in sports. Parang okay, we can parang si ano lang yan, parang si how should we say it? Kasi naman yung argument nila is the more we glorify yung feats ni Pacquiao is the more we forget about yung blunders. Now, which is not true. People are not stupid. We can be objective and say that he in Senate, he's not a legislator talaga. So parang what do you expect? Yun lang yung question ko eh. What do you expect from the guy? Right. I expect him to fail. And in sports though, if you will listen to sports analysts in US, they're talking about Manny Pacquiao in the same line, in the same sentence with Mayweather. Like what I said earlier, he's in the conversation of being the all-time greatest boxer of like ever. So not because of Pinoy pride or not because of anything. Like I fuck Pinoy pride. Pero
fuck Pinoy
like
pride.
you can't deny. You can't deny 8 times. No one has done that. No one has done that. Even the great Ali was not able to do that.
Ele, parang that's arguably harder than being undefeated. Right?
It's harder, yes. Talaga, meron ng conversation na parang Mayweather undefeated, Manny Pacquiao 8-time champion in 8 divisions, which is better. They say that the difficulty is higher than Manny. Kasi in boxing specifically, like let's from hip hop to sports ng konti. It's very tied talaga ang hip hop and sports. So parang in boxing, umaangat ka ng weight class. Unlike basketball, unlike tennis, unlike golf, no other sports is like boxing where for you to compete, you have to worry about your weight. Weight ang pinaka-important. Yun yung gatekeeper eh. Para makatungtong ka ng welterweight at weight mo. What Manny did was like from level 1 to level 8 every time increasing his weight and no one is trying to do that because it's hard to, it's hard to move and familiarize yourself with a
And it's
different body weight.
fucking dangerous
And
to,
yes, it's
to
fine.
go.
Maraming natatalo because of moving weight. Nung natalo siya recently, yung mga talo niya is because he tried to explore the weight na hindi sanay yung katawan niya.
Yeah,
And
and like
it just shows the difficulty of the feat he was able to do from super bantamweight to a welterweight. And if meron kang listeners na sports people, they will really understand it. And for those who don't, like, read on it.
Like every weight, kailangan ng bagong strategy and new form of training. So like there's a lot of, I think, sports science that goes into it. There's a lot of understanding your own body that goes into it. And at the rate of how he quickly achieved that, like there has to be some level of genius, not only with Freddie Roach, pero also like, like genius within Manny Pacquiao and stuff like that, with no privilege, starting out as a kid, being raised by Alan Junisa, who weren't like rich, all that stuff, right? Now that we're talking about sports and it's part of our ganda segue, of our outline here. So the NBA is back. Woot woot! The NBA is back. LeBron. So yeah, I don't. So we were supposed to talk about the jerseys of the NBA and why, I don't know, we like it. I don't know. I personally like it. Pero let's talk about basketball nga muna. Like fuck the audience. How are you feeling about the season, bro? How are you feeling about the season?
Oh my god, man, I can't contain. Like, there's so much to talk about. Like Dame, it's Dame fucking time, and it's just really nice. It's just really nice to watch them again, because feeling ko to some extent, kasi there was let's talk about what's happening in NBA. Feeling ko I'm just really excited about the playoffs because everyone feels that they're back to zero. Unlike in previous years, may momentum going to the playoffs. This time, like, especially nagaling sila sa rest. Bukod sa nakapagpahinga sila, James Harden is really phenomenal. Nakapagpahinga siya eh. Yun lang naman yung laging failures ni James Harden every season, kaya siya nalalaglag ng playoffs. Pagod na siya by semis. So ngayon, napakalupit ni James Harden. And Luka Doncic, that guy, he's 21 years old. 21 years old? Damn. We're even older, the guy. And he's fucking better than LeBron right now. He's in the MVP conversation. I just feel na as a Laker fan, I'm really excited about what's gonna happen. Feeling ko yung kalaban lang ni LeBron is yung father time talaga. Like, what scares me is not LeBron's mentality. LeBron is the most intelligent basketball player ever. Like, everyone's arguing about it. Now, there was one time where LeBron was asking an interview and he was able to, parang siyang mayroong photographic memory in basketball na parang he was able to direct the same play. But yun, so parang feeling ko kalaban lang ni LeBron is not just like Kobe in his last years, yung physical talaga. So parang I'm excited. I think, who are you, Lakers ka rin, di ba? Because you're a LeBron fan right now. Who are you rooting for the playoffs?
What do you call this? I'm a LeBron hater ever since he went to the Miami Heat. Pero after getting 2 championships from the Miami Heat and going to Cleveland, and then for me, upsetting the greatest formulated best chemistry
Best team.
That ever existed. For me, sila yung best chemistry ever with the best coach, genius wizard coach. I just can't deny that LeBron is a great, and he deserves to be in the GOAT conversation. Dati nasa Miami Heat siya, I really hated him Pero after all those things, teaming up with J.R. Smith and performing at a high level consistently for 8 years or whatever, it's so hard to deny his greatness. So I'm just rooting. I'm rooting for the guy. Okay, I think I want to talk about. Do you think Giannis should have been MVP. Di ba si Giannis na yung MVP?
Okay. Good topic.
Diba?
Di ko pa nakikita yung news. Feeling ko kasi, like, in Giannis' argument or in Giannis' defense, Giannis is having an all-time performance in a sense na yung PER. For people who don't know much about it, PER is the player efficiency rating. So, player efficiency rating is, let's simplify this, sa 10 tira, ilan yung naipasok mo? Giannis is having like 8 out of 10. That's how efficient he is. So, in terms of player efficiency rating, number 1 na si Giannis. Tapos yung team niya, number 1 pa. And kasi sa MVP conversation, dalawa lang naman yung consideration dyan. Number 1 is yung performance ng team. Number 2 is yung per individual performance. In both categories, Giannis is winning. Sobrang ganda ng panalo talaga si Giannis stat-wise, like a headshot to anyone in terms of stats. Tapos baka pa siya manalo ng Defensive Player of the Year. So, ganun kalakas yung like all-time performance yung ginawa ni Giannis this year. And partly siguro yung competition was like there's a conversation about mas diverse yung competition right now. Hindi siya as kasing lakas before. Wala sila KD, wala sila Steph. Hindi at best si LeBron. Like si Kawhi, sobrang nag-load damage. So parang it's an easy year for Giannis. Now, for me though, LeBron should be the MVP. Not bias aside, just objectively.
Sige, wait lang. Before you explain yours, can I explain mine? Because I know you have more things to say about LeBron and the Lakers. So let me say my piece first bago mawalan. So, pati lang, alam mo yun, like,
Go, man.
Add to it na. So I'm gonna say the obvious things. Yeah. I think LeBron should be MVP. So I think like regardless that like so KD's not in the conversation. Kawhi's load managing, but I still think that the Western Conference is way harder than the Eastern Conference. And being top 1 there is like super freaking hard. So yun yung parang isang check off for LeBron. The second thing that LeBron's teammates are freaking new. Like he developed that arguably same level of chemistry. Like the Bucks na parang they already established it for many years. But LeBron just entered, AD just entered, and then they're performing at a high level in the hardest conference of the NBA. So that's my second check. And the third one is he is leading in assists. At his age. And it's just like, for me, it's practically almost every game is almost like a triple-double. But if it's not like a triple-double, it's like one of those stats are like insane, like 15 assists, 12 assists, or like freaking 35 points and stuff like that. And it's very consistent. So those are my 3 things why I would say like LeBron. Like that's my argument that I would launch why LeBron is the MVP. I'm sure you have other things to say why.
I agree on that. I agree on every point. Yung sa akin is feeling ko kasi yung it will boil down to the definition of what valuable means. Kasi if what valuable means is your individual supremacy or performance, run away. Red carpet, Giannis should win. All right? I have no arguments. Pero, my question is, we should change our definition of what should valuable mean, especially in basketball or in NBA. Kasi, like, in the broad situation, tanggalin mo siya. This is the best example eh. Remove LeBron in Lakers and remove Giannis in Milwaukee. How would the teams perform?
Milwaukee would still be in the playoffs. Lakers would not be on the playoffs.
That's one. Diba? So parang that's how you can see yung performance nila. Number two was yung mga iniwan na team ni LeBron. What happened to them? What happened to them was hindi sila nakakaabot ng playoffs. After being a finals contender, Cleveland was now out of the playoffs. It just shows to you what impact LeBron is making. So what valuable means is your impact subjectively what the team needs. So parang, it's not an attack on Giannis. Like, feeling ko Giannis is giving what Milwaukee needs. Pero, if Giannis will be placed on a more difficult situation, like the Lakers management right now, kasi Lakers management right now is in blunder. Like, yung management was not good. Lahat yung rebuilding process nila was not right. Ilang years nang hindi bumabalik ng playoffs. What LeBron did was to lead the team. All right? Before he came to Lakers, what was the question? LeBron can't do it in the West. LeBron is always in the finals because he's in the East. He went to the West and make it to the top one. People can argue na West right now is easier compared to the West last year or to the other years. There's no Golden State, ganyan and stuff. Pero still, with jumping on your point earlier, the composition of the Lakers team right now is built on LeBron. These are aging players: JaVale McGee, Sandana, Dwight Howard out of his prime, KCP, whatever, all of them.
Jared Dudley,
capitalizing on Twitter na lang. Tapos, di ba, sobrang walang kwenta yung Lakers team without LeBron, the glue guy in it. So parang LeBron is the main piece that makes everything work. That's how valuable he is. And number 3 is, yung difficulty na ginagawa ni LeBron, just jumping again on your point earlier, LeBron is a 6'9", 210 LBS player. So in usual standards, dapat power forward siya or dapat usual small forward siya. First time in his career, he tried to be the point guard. All right, in position, and he lead the team. He lead the league in assists. That's how valuable he is, because in that team, for everyone to work, he needs to give them the ball. If he just attacks, they're not winning. So parang, if we're going, I'm a real Lakers fan. I watch their game every time. Remove LeBron's points. Keep his assists. Mananalo pa rin yung Lakers. So in games where malaki yung points ni LeBron, mababa assist niya, natatalo sila kasi hindi niya napapagana yung buong team. So parang it just shows how valuable LeBron is for the Lakers. So parang I think that's how MVP should work. And last argument is, this is coming from me being a Kobe fan. Way 06, 07, Steve Nash was awarded the MVP and not Kobe. But Kobe stat-wise was Giannis of that year. That was the year Kobe had 81 points. And he didn't won the MVP because Nash was leading Phoenix Suns to a very good year. So parang, during that time, they were, nagkaroon na sila ng idea na what valuable means is how you lead your team to a specific position. Diba? So parang kahit na I'm arguing na Kobe should have won that year, if ganun pala yung basis natin, then LeBron should win this year.
Yeah,
because
like parang,
he's the Steve Nash of this Lakers team.
Like if they applied that standard on Steve Nash, why couldn't they apply that standard on LeBron? And
meron din kasi may MVP fatigue na tinatawag, may league fatigue na tinatawag, na parang sawa na silang panalunan sa LeBron as MVP.
So you think
like
this happened to Michael Jordan?
Yes. Oo, talaga. Nagkaroon din ng fatigue in Michael. Kaso nga lang, Michael Jordan was, kaya siguro yun yung malaking difference niya Kaya marami pa rin nag-argue na MJ should be the GOAT. Right now, personally, I'm still, if LeBron wins this year, I might lean now to say that LeBron can be the GOAT. It's gonna be a really strong argument if he wins this year. Pero kasi yung ginawa ni Michael was talagang talagang, what do you call this? If magde-debate tayo, if gonna compare it to debating, panalo niya all rounds, pas nag-champion pa siya, best speaker pa siya. Ganun kasi yung performance ni Michael during that time. So it's hard to deny him the MVP. Pero nagkaroon pa ng MVP fatigue. Like Charles Barkley won one time, I think. Tapos, I don't know if he's not, parang nanalo nga si Charles, o Malone din. Nagkakaroon talaga ng MVP fatigue, especially in the past years na. Sawa na silang ipanalo. Parang kasi in NBA, voting kasi yon, di ba? For people who don't know it, voting siya ng media, voting siya ng players, and voting siya ng coaches. So, magkakaroon na yung players, panalo, I think, hanggang ngayon, marami pa rin kasabing LeBron should win, pero media wants to give it to Giannis. and coaches wants to give it to Giannis. So, feeling ko mananalo sa Giannis. Feeling ko Lakers will not, parang even Anthony Davis will not win Defensive Player of the Year. Parang, but I like it that no one likes the Lakers. So, we're for the first time underdogs. We're underdogs coming to the playoffs. Pero, ayun, like, I just think that LeBron deserves it this year. And feeling ko na ito na yung last time for him, last chance for him to win the MVP. If he's not gonna win it this year, he's not gonna win it next year na. Kasi mag-ano na talaga, like alam mo ba age niya? Like feeling ko 30
36? Tama ba? 34?
Oh.
Not sure.
Like,
Somewhere there.
May gray na nga siya sa beard. So, last chance na yan, manalo. Hindi naman sa ibigay na sa kanya, pero feeling ko he just really deserves it, what he did for Lakers. Number 1 seed in the West with, ngayon nga, parang we talk about Kawhi, we talk about the Clippers, we talk about the Mavs. Mavs is phenomenal. Like, best of efficiency rating ng offense, best offense ever, better than Golden State. Better than the 73-9 Golden State. And imagine now what firepower that team has. And Dallas is way better than that. Sobrang malakas pa rin yung West ngayon is top heavy.
Super.
So parang feeling ko is, ayun, like LeBron should definitely win subjectively. Pero feeling ko mananalo sa Giannis. Like just looking at the standards.
Awesome. Actually, there's a lot of things that I want to talk about. I want to talk about Damian Lillard. I want to talk about the Suns. I want to talk about the beef between LA Clippers and Damian Lillard. I want to talk about did the LA Clippers intentionally lose so that on the first round, Trailblazers versus. Pero yes, and that's a whole like other episode, and that's I think that's for next time. Holy shit, I miss talking to you about basketball, Benjo. But let's go on to the last topic because I have another podcast episode that I have to start at 8 p.m. and like we're 40 minutes away from it. All right. So the concluding conversation is that neoliberalism, or so like my idea of neoliberalism is that corporations and private institutions are participating in protests. So we see on the court, there's a Black Lives Matter. We see on the jerseys, equality, justice, educational reform, say her name, enough is enough, Black Lives Matter. What do you feel about the NBA's stance on that, on allowing these protests at the back of the jerseys of these NBA players?
Feeling ko kasi, like, compared to the past years, the commissioner, Adam Silver, is really progressive and very socially aware with what's happening right now. So parang feeling ko he's the best commissioner so far na he sees now NBA as a brand talaga. So if you're looking at a brand, as much as you don't want to be political, you can't avoid being political, especially that sports is political. So I'm just happy that they decided to continue with going to the bubble instead of not going with it, because for others' knowledge, before the bubble started, or yung tinatawag naming bubble is yung NBA kasi right now, nasa Orlando lang sila. Everyone is just there. Everyone is negative from the coronavirus. Everyone tested. So before going there, some players are against it. Notable players like they don't want to go to bubble. It's gonna seem like black people being used as entertainment figures or entertainment figures for people. Parang it doesn't feel right for them. Na parang,
that's what Kyrie Irving feels.
At their homes. That's what Kyrie Irving feels. Okay. Na parang ginagamit na battering rams ang black people kasi majority of the NBA is black, diba? So parang allowing them to play there is like, sige, maglaro panoorin namin kayo. Yan naman yung role niya, entertain kami eh. So parang for him, hindi dapat ganun eh. Parang we should talk about more the social problems we have right now. We should not divert from it. We should not feel like everything is bad. So we should not forget what right. Yun nga, yung na grabe yung racial profiling ngayon sa America, dagdagan mo pa yung issues ni Trump right now. So, ayaw niyang ma-remove yung discussion. So, parang I feel happy that NBA decided to continue with the season because like what most other players or even LeBron is arguing, it's the biggest platform you have. Sobrang daming benefits that you can get from starting the season. Number one, yung earnings. Maraming players right now is playing for a charity or for a Black Lives Matter cause. Like many of them are using their salary, funneling it to movements. Without NBA resuming, they will not get their salary. Hindi rin kikita yung business. Hindi rin magkakaroon ng help. So parang wala rin mangyayari. So might as well use it. That's number one. Number two is the platform. Since everyone's at home, everyone's gonna watch. Commercials will be all-time high. Right now, yung ratings ng NBA is all-time high. So, ngayon, if you were gonna watch one of their games, sa court pa lang nakalagay na Black Lives Matter. So, dun pa lang kita mo na. It's always, every time you watch, every time you see the game, aside from seeing the players play, nakita mo yung message. So, it's all about bringing up the message na hindi mo makakalimutan na still Black Lives Matter. And ayun nga, meron silang idea of placing placing sentiments on jerseys. Some of them says Black Lives Matter. Kay Danny Green nakalagay how many more, which means how many more lives should be wasted. Ganyan. So parang what NBA or the team or the board of whatever they have decided which I like is they're smart enough to know na yung media mileage ng NBA if they go back to the season will be all-time high. Everyone will be seeing it. So the argument of forgetting what's happening is wrong. In fact, it's the other way around. If you start the season, everyone will be watching, everyone will remember what will be happening there. And pangalawa, yung argument ng players na kapag after ng games, there will always be an after interview and press conferences. Ngayon, nakatutok yung mic, you have a platform as an individual player, you can speak. You can speak whatever you want. And most of the players right now are doing it. During their press conferences, Tobias Harris, Devin Booker, Damian Lillard, LeBron James, whenever they have the mic, they speak about BLM. So people can, hear about it. So it's all good. I don't see anything wrong with it. And I'm all for it. So it's all pluses for me. There's no minuses in the strategy.
And that, my friends, is Benjo Gumboc defending neoliberalism. No, but I also agree. Na parang now people around the world know the names of George Floyd, of Breonna Taylor. Actually, one of my favorite signs at the back is "Say her name." Kasi talaga mapapa-Google kayo. Say her name. Okay. It's about Breonna Taylor. Like they're talking about that. What's your favorite like protest message?
Kay Danny Green. How many more?
Okay. One question is that some players don't have it. Is it because like only 50% of the players should have it, or like is it their choice? And is it if they don't have those protests on their jerseys, does that mean they don't support the Black Lives Matter movement? I mean, I'm just questions for like some people that might have the same question.
Ang best example dyan is si LeBron. Like LeBron is the face of the league. If you ask someone, who do you think is the most progressive, outspoken about racial profiling or the movement? It's LeBron. LeBron yung pinaka number one na outspoken. Pero, ironically, LeBron didn't choose. Choices kasi ng players. Choices ng players to put something in there. Like for example, kay Danny Green nga, may name niya sa ilalim, may number, and then there's the quote sa taas. So, like whatever quote you want to use. Like kay JaVale McGee, respect us, ganon. So, si LeBron, sabi niya, ayaw niya maglagay ng ng something on the jersey. Okay. So, ngayon, ironically, so LeBron is the most outspoken, pero ba't hindi niya pinilit
Yeah,
to
he's
put
the most critical against Trump then.
most
Calling Trump
critical
a
against
bum.
Trump?
Mm.
Yes, talagang nire-rebut niya si Trump, tweet niya si Trump. Kaso, like, I actually, ito, like, sobrang sideway comment lang. Feeling ko, 5 years from now, LeBron can run. No joke, LeBron can run for president. Talaga. Like,
It's not a far
he's
cry.
very,
Donald Trump won.
yeah, and ano like LeBron's leadership, like LeBron's sige, like going back. So parang si LeBron hindi niya pinili maglagay ng saying. So is it bad? Ganyan. Feeling ko yung kasi yung argument ni LeBron was whenever you wear the jersey, it says Nike. It says Adidas. So parang when he wears the jersey, he's carrying the Lakers brand or the business. Ayaw niyang pagkakitaan yung message. He can speak about it as the player. Pero just parang medyo nitpicky na siya actually for LeBron. Pero kasi in LeBron side or for the athlete side, for these players, mahirap din for them. Kasi nga, to some of them, especially in LeBron's magnitude, brand ambassador ka. Medyo business, meron ding athlete, meron ding business, meron ding personal. So parang, siya naman, kaya naman niyang mag-speak about it on Twitter using his own brand. Pero kapag nandun sa basketball court, it should be, he wants to focus on his play. He wants to focus on his play. So parang, he just thinks na while he is okay with other players, like replacing their names, kasi wala naman silang pangalan I mean, sorry to say, but
yeah, like the Wizards. We don't know the players from the Washington Wizards. Who the hell are these people?
So parang kung wala rin naman purpose yung pangalan mo in the back of your jersey, then just replace it with something useful. Pero kay LeBron kasi, yun nga, sabi niya, suot niya yung jersey, it's business. He's basically modeling Nike or Adidas kung sino man yung sponsor nila. I think was Nike. So parang ayaw niya lagay yung pangalan niya doon, ayaw niya maglagay ng saying kasi ayaw niyang ikabit ayaw niyang ma-confuse, and as much as possible ayaw rin niya maging tokenistic. Yun yung view niya. Parang he will talk about it as much as he can. Ayaw niya lang i-mix it up. Gusto niya lang hiwalay. During the game I play, after I play, then I'll talk about it. Siya nga yung nag-start ng saying na before more than an athlete. Tapos ngayon more than a vote, something like that, or may bago siya parang vote something. So parang si LeBron yung best example kasi the best guy who's the most outspoken did not do it. What is his reason? So feeling ko yun yung most objective. So parang okay lang sa akin. Like as long as he use the platform, we should not force. Yun din naman yung argument ni Kyrie. Parang we should not force them to speak about it. It should come genuinely. So ayun, that's my view on the names. It's good that they make it optional. Yun pa isa kasi parang as the NBA, some of them don't
kneel.
Si Isa, don't kneel. Yung pa isa parang if some of your audience also know Colin Kaepernick and what happened, why he was suspended because of he kneeled during the anthem. In NBA ngayon sa bubble, lahat sila kneeling, magkakakapit. So parang the league allows that, and some people like si Isaac
Orlando Magic, diba? Orlando Magic.
Oh.
But he wasn't fined. I think that's the difference between the NBA and the NFL. In the NFL, if someone like challenges the norm, they get fined, they get called out, diba? For kneeling, all that stuff, like a Colin Kaepernick. Pero kay Jonathan Isaac, like even if like it's the team's culture to kneel during the anthem as a sign of protest, like he did not get flack from it from the fans, or like parang even if he did, like parang so little. So parang I just feel, and I just want to say that I appreciate the NBA more for being more tolerant and understanding with different perspectives and how they handle it compared to the NFL, where like don't join the culture, then get out of the fucking field. Parang ganun.
Kasi yung nuance doon is NFL compared to NBA. Number one is siya yung major sport in US. So mas polarized yung audience niya. And
I see.
majority of his audience are actually conservative. More than so kahit na hindi majority, marami, sobrang dami nila. Unlike in the NBA, yun nga, majority are black. So parang more leaning talaga dapat. Parang I'm gonna be mad pa kung NBA will not do it kasi nandiyan na yung platform. Lahat ng players mo negro. Konti lang yung kilala ko na black players in NFL like Shannon Sharp. Wala na masyadong iba like sila Odell Beckham Jr., sila ODJ, pero like sila
Wala nga akong kilala eh. Kala ko lang sila,
so, parang,
Peyton Manning. Tama ba yun?
Peyton Manning.
Basta, pati
Neil
din eh. Yun yung weird sa NFL eh, do? Like parang, who's that person that did the kneel for against abortion? Tapos yung John 3:16 na verse. Who's that?
Ako on a verse. Hindi ko rin kilala. Pero na I have heard about that.
Anyway,
so parang
yung sa
challenge talaga sa yun talaga. So yun talaga, yung challenge talaga sa NFL was, sila kasi yung major sport. So parang feeling ko rin, mas madali siya for NBA dahil unang-una mas global si NBA than NFL. NFL is technically US-based. Wala masyadong ng football outside it. NBA is a global brand. So parang meron din silang impetus to do it compared to NFL na parang more American talaga siya. Mas American siya. Na parang ano nga yung Super Bowl is the most watched TV show every year. 'Di ba kaya nga naging platform din siya for celebrities to perform. Parang kapag nakapag-perform ka in Super Bowl, legit status ka na. Parang yun yung isa sa keys for you to be legit. Kailangan makapag-perform ka in Super Bowl. So parang yun lang. Parang in NFL, siguro challenge for them dahil nag-start si NBA this year to be progressive about it. Pero feeling ko, mahirap for NFL. Like, majority of it will still not allow for it to be that political. Especially is, majority nga ng players ni NFL is, conservative.
Gets. Ang ganda. I really like how you compared and contrast and juxtaposed both leagues. I haven't seen that perspective, pero yeah, I see it. Like NBA is more of a global brand. It's easier for them to have liberal values because of the fan base. And yeah, I see it. Awesome. Benjo, that is all the time that we have. So
yeah.
I just wanna
miss you, brother.
Actually, I just wanna say na I don't think people still watch my shows.
I do.
Umabot ka dito, comment mo sa comment section, nipples. Okay? Pag comment section ng nipples. Ibig sabihin mo umabot ka dito, okay? Kung sa comment section, ibig sabihin mo walang nakaabot dito sa ano. Pero just in case na merong nakaabot sa part to and someone actually watched it, what would you like to just say as like final words? I don't know, something on advocacy that you'd like to share.
So ano lang, feeling ko in social media. So my personal value lang talaga every time is to be, and this is what I think I've learned from debating. Like actually ngayon, it's been a while since I debated. Like retirement feels really surreal. And what I just learned about it, parang ngayon na hindi ko na hinahanap. Parang before, I'm one of the number one lovers na every training, every tournament, I'm still there. Right now, I just feel na it's a good thing din para to be separated. Na-realize ko yung main value niya. Just for people who's listening, especially to your followers, to your young followers, nakita ko yung followers mo, fan base mo yung TikTok. Like, be objective as possible. When we say objective, always try to play both sides. If there's one takeaway I got from college debating or professional debating is always look at both sides. And it helps you think. It makes you, parang yung mga ayoko sa mga tao is pag one-dimensional ka. If isa lang ang kaya mong i-perceive. Even my progressive friends, to be honest. Like, I have a lot of progressive friends and sometimes they're just too progressive in a sense that it makes it harder for them to send their message because they don't know how to talk to other people who don't have the same initial values. So parang for you to parang if progressive ka, feeling ko, I want to speak more to those people. Kasi you know what to say. You have the knowledge, you have the access to information. If you really want to send your message, as much as possible, try to play on the other side of the spectrum. Diba? It does not change your values naman eh. Alam mo naman sa sarili mo paninindigan mo eh. Alam mo naman prinsipyo mo eh. Like for example, tayo, boboto ko si Manny, hindi ko siya iboboto. Regardless of how I defend his feats in boxing. I'll never vote for him. I'll advocate for people not to vote for him. Pero I can always be objective and say that he can be the best boxer of all time. So parang it just also increases the level of conversation between people kasi ano eh, it's just more healthy that you know where they're coming from, you know where you're coming from. It's easier to send the message. It's easier to tailor fit your message sa kanila or to your audience. And ayun, to Bolo's followers, listen to this guy, man. Like there's a lot of things you can learn from him. And like actually feeling ko hindi nakita ng ibang audience mo is, or feeling ko yung main good thing ng content mo is you can be as informative as fuck and be quirky and still have the comedy, the entertainment. So you have both. So parang for other influencers then, which is your friends, use the platform like what my friend is doing. Yun lang, like try to be informative. It's not because of the trend, just because of the platform. You have your audience. Be responsible about your audience.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love it, Benjo. Thank you so much for being in the show, episode 16 of the Bolo Pascual show. If you reach,
thank you for guesting.
type
thank
nipples,
you for
nipples, nipples,
show,
nipples.
Sana panoorin nila sa mas mahaba rin pala. Pero okay lang. Like, they should be used about it. G.
All right. See ya. I'll stop recording now. Bye.
Yeah, man.